Hello, this is John Eastland. I am with the Domestic Control Tower in Dallas, Texas, and today we are going to cover the 7L rating applet. This applet can run zone tariff rates and LTL rates. Today we are going to cover LTL rating and booking in the 7L rating applet. If you want access to the system, just send me, John Eastland, an email, and we will get you set up with access to the system, username and password, with a variety of carriers where you can auto book and receive rates. Once you receive, and we'll also send you the web address to go to. So you get your web address, username, password. Once you receive your username and password, you'll come to the web address that we'll provide and enter your information. I have my browser set up to retain a username and password, so I don't have to remember it forever and ever. And then you get access to the system. When you log in, you'll see 5 buttons that when you hover has a little Hellman logo in the background. And what you have is get a quote, view a quote, shipments, database, and log out of the system. Get a quote, this is where you're going to run your rate quotes and save them. View a quote, this is where you can see the saved rate quotes. Shipments, this is where you can see the shipments were quoted and then turned into a shipment. You also receive status updates back from the LTL carrier. So we can run a quote, book it, it books direct with the carrier, then once it's moving, we receive status updates back. And then a database, you can set up a little address book of shippers and consignees. So when you run a quote, you can just pull them off the list as opposed to entering the zip code. And then when you're ready to log out of the system, we just click log out. So we'll start with get a quote. We will start with our origin zip code and destination zip code, or as I mentioned, if you set up a database, you can do this pull down menu right here, and then you'll see you can just pick shipper from the list, and you can pick the shipper from the list. But in this case, we're going to go from one of my favorite cities in the country. We're going to go from Miami, Florida, and on the destination zip code, we are going to go to Los Angeles, Beverly Hills. And something I'll point out with the zip codes is that with the zip code, I do a pull down on this one. You can see I have 3 or 4 cities. Or on this one right here, on the Beverly Hills, I only have 1 city. It's important to make sure we select the correct area from the list because the rate can change a little bit from one to the other inside a zip code. The LTL companies have a fairly sophisticated system for running rates. Then we go down to pieces and dims. Manual, you can also store items in your database. You can set up if a customer ships, 1 pallet, it's always a particular size and a particular way you can set that up, and you can just pick stored items off the list. But today we are going to do it manual. You can have the system run in US standard, meaning pounds and inches for dimensions, pounds for the weight, or you can have the system run metric, so you can run in kilos and centimeters. So we'll say we have 1 pallet that weighs 500 pounds, and we have dimensions. We'll say they are 40, 48, 48. What you'll notice is the class is set up to be based off of density, so it'll help choose a class for you. Right here in this line, right here underneath your dimensions, you notice it keeps track. Total pieces, total weight. What is the dim weight with a 194 dim factor or a 250 dim factor used here in the US, and the number of cubic feet. Something else I would point out is the weight. This is per piece. So say if you had 5 pallets and each pallet was 500 pounds. Notice down here for the total weight, this is how it's going to run the quote. The total weight is 2,500 pounds. So just make sure you understand, if I put 2,500 in here, say that it was 5 pallets at 2,500 pounds total weight, it's going to make it run at a very high weight. So just always remember that the weight is the weight per piece. And then right here we have all of our accessorials. So you need a lift gate, pickup, delivery, inside, etc. You can see where this is. You just hit the checkbox and then it'll run the rate. And if it has this material appointment, etc., just hit get rates. Now it'll run. And what it's going to do, it's going to go through all of our direct LTL contracts, and Hellman has also struck agreements with several third-party LTL providers in order to try to get the best rate for shipments in a particular lane. And so that's why you might see the same carrier twice, is because either they offer different service levels or we go to that carrier through different parties. For example, Roadrunner, the C right here tells me that this is with CTS, and this Roadrunner down here tells me this is with LPS because of the L. And then we probably have Race Direct with Roadrunner down here somewhere in the carrier return. Now, each column is also can be sorted. So say if you want to put the carriers in alphabetical order, you can hit carrier and it puts them into a particular order by alphabet. You can hit service levels. So if you want to see group the guaranteed service levels together, or transit time if I'm looking for which one has the faster transit time. Something to note about YRC is this is actually their forwarding division. And if you really needed a next day or a second day rate, you could just email domestic@us.helman.net and we could run that rate for you. We can do the same thing. Probably a lot more affordable than this. But you'll come down, when sorting by transit, you can come to your first one. So Conway has a 4-day transit at a rate. So does UPS, and both of these are through one of our partners, LPS. Or you can also sort by rate. So I want to see my least expensive. So in this case, I ran 5 pallets, 2,500 pounds. Came back with a rate of 614.63 on Southeastern, or UPS rate of 777. So let's say I like my Southeastern rate. I can hit the information, get a little information about the shipment that varies depending on lane and carrier. And then I can hit save quote, and we will save this quote. And then through this little menu, we can open the quote and look at it. We can email it direct to somebody, or we can book the shipment. So let's take a quick peek at what the rate form looks like when we create it. So if we were going to send it to a customer, this is what they would see. So now it gives them a rundown on who they are, Hellman Worldwide Logistics, the area, who the customer we're quoting, the lane segments. Here we're going from Miami to Beverly Hills. Here's what we're quoting. Class 100 gives us cubic meters, who we're going with, and what our cost is. So that's what will go out to the customer, whoever you choose to email it to, if you were to use the email feature. Then let's go with book shipment. So if you book the shipment, what it's going to do is bring up this screen right here where we will actually book it. And then when we're looking at it, there is quite a bit of information on the screen, and we'll cover it right quick. So it gives our service level less than truckload. This really comes into play when we are doing a zone rating shipment, because you could have next day or second day, and you can change the service. And then third party, prepaid, collect, third party. We're going to leave this third party because that's going to matter when we create the bill of lading. And then if we had set up some address book, we could pull the shipper right off here, or the consignee right here. Later on, we'll have the option to save it, so we can complete all the fields, hit save, and then they add to the address book. So we will say that we are coming from ABC Company at 123 Main Street in Miami, Florida. So we give it a phone number, email address, and we'll say the freight's ready on October 16th, and it is ready between 9 in the morning and 5 p.m. And if we had any reference numbers, that were needed, third-party reference numbers, etc., we could put that in right here. And then we are going to go to XYZ Company, and they are at 100 Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, California, and we'll give them a phone number as well. You can also put an email address, fax numbers, anything that we have related to the pickup, and also might be good to have a contact name, delivery if we're looking for it. But typically with LTL, they have a standard transit time in between zip codes. So I normally don't fill this out unless it's needed. If we need to deliver on a particular day and we quoted that service, then you'd want to put the delivery date and time in here. And then we just fill out what the items are. I would just use stuff for this example. If you had set up something in our database of particular items that had a particular commodity, you can just pull it off the list. But for now, I would say stuff. We have 5 pieces at 500 pounds per piece. Here are the DIMS class. If we know the NMFC number, it's good to key it in. And there we are. And the system can also run quotes to and from Canada. So if we know the broker and Mexico's in the works, so to and from Canada, Mexico's in the works, and so later on we're gonna, we may have the need where we're gonna need the broker to cross the border, and here you can put their name and phone number for the broker. And then if there's any special instructions, we put right here, so say pick up at dock door 3. And so when the pickup goes over to the LTL company, they have that information and know where to go. And then you hit generate. Oh, I guess I need a delivery date and time. What I like about the system is it makes it very apparent what is needed, so it's in that bright red. So we say they are open between 0900 and 4 p.m. And come back down our list, see if we have everything correct. And if we do, system's thinking. Now, it's a 2-step booking process. So what happens, you fill out the information and you hit generate, and then you can take a look at your bill of lading. So we can open up our bill of lading and make sure that it is correct before we send it off to anybody. So we take a look at it, we make sure we have like the correct carrier name, bill of lading number, that we have the correct bill to pick up at dock door, correct quote number, pieces weight DIMS. We want to give this a quick once over to make sure that everything is correct. Also probably print a copy of this and send it to our shipper, or ship it to whoever we need to, and you can also email that document right out of the system right here. The system also makes shipping labels, so it's important that we take a look at those as well in order to make sure that they are correct, in order for when we send them over to the customer that those are correct. So if all this was correct, we'd hit schedule pickup. When you hit schedule pickup, then it dispatches the shipment. And we're gonna let this think a second. It's a 2-step process. You hit schedule pickup, and then it will. I'm not gonna do that, but anyway, it's live. So schedule pickup sends it off, and then we can double check and make sure that it went later. Anyway, so this shipment is live, so I got to cancel this a little later. But anyway, once you hit the schedule pickup, then it's ready to rock and roll. So now we can come up here and take a look at our shipment. So this is the one that we just did. So right here, see this dispatch button. I can see that it did not go through, because if it had been dispatched, this button would be grayed out. We can at any point in time take a look at the bill lading or the labels, and we can email documents. We select the shipment, and then we can email the documents for that shipment to anybody that's involved. Additionally, the status right here, this is where status updates will come back from the LTL company. So as it moves to their system, status updates all the way through POD, we get the POD information right here on the status. So this is a pretty good tool to use right here. I'll touch briefly on the database. When you hit database, you can add shipping items. So the shipper ships the same thing all the time. You just come and fill out this information, save it, and then it'll be on the pull-down menu. And then this is also where you can add a shipper or a consignee location for a particular customer or customers if you have it. And then when you're done, you just click log out. And I am John Eastland. I am with the National Control Tower in Dallas, Texas, and I thank you for your time.